Hey guys, welcome to the Vinyasa class of this week. My name's MJ and I'm currently staying at someone else's house, and guess what? The yoga teacher didn't bring any yoga outfits to do this class in, so wearing my bathing suit. That's what you get. So today, make sure that you're in an area that's got some space to move. Have 2 blocks, which I do not have them here, a blanket, a bolster, anything else that might support the body. Maybe cushions. Let's come to a seated position. We'll sit with our right shin in front of our left and bring our heels out in line with our knees, the outer knees. The hands can be on the legs. You can sit up on a blanket or a block, whatever you need to lift the pelvis up for it to be more comfortable. If you have double pigeon or square pose in your practice, your right ankle will be on top of your left knee. And then closing the eyes, just breathing through Ujjayi breath, dragging the air in and out of the nose. Just allowing the mind and body to begin to connect, to settle, to find presence. As you start to notice the sounds around you, how the breath is moving in and out, how far into the body the breath is moving. And just checking into everything for today. How are you feeling today? What might be different than normal? Observing each of these things without judgment. As you're ready, we'll swap the opposite shin either in front or on top. Again, you'll cross at the middle of the shins, heels in line with the knees, or the left shin on top of the right with the ankle on top of the knee, toes flexed in. On this side, you might need to sit up higher or support the knees. And again, continue to breathe. Becoming more and more aware, knowing that for the next 30 or so minutes we'll be moving the body with focus, connecting the breath, maybe finding some new things that we didn't realize that we could do. Might be something little, might be something big. Setting your intention right now for the class, allowing that to weave its way throughout the entire time. And as you're ready, let's come to sit with the legs at a deer pose position. Right shin parallel to the edge of the mat or the blanket. Left foot's next to the hip. As we turn to the right, walk the hands out. You can stay here. The left hip will be off the ground. You can always come to the forearms, onto props, under the chest, the arms, or come all the way down. If you'd like this to be slightly deepened, your right foot will push the left leg a little further back, and you'll reach the left arm a little further forwards. Keeping the front of the chest reaching forwards, still breathing in and out into the low abdomen. And take another full deep inhale and a full deep exhale. And the next inhale breath will slowly lift ourselves up as you lift the torso all the way up. And then we're just going to turn ourselves all the way over to the left side, a little bit like fun breakdancing in a way. This time the left foot's at the right knee, right foot next to the right hip, and then we'll turn to the left side this time. And the foot can be arched to the ground or toes turned behind of the right foot. And either stay on the palms as you walk the hands out, keep the spine long, maybe come a little further onto the forearms or onto props or all the way down onto the chest. Again, we keep the front of the spine long. This time the right arm reaches forwards. Again, if you'd like to deepen it, your left foot will gently push the right leg a little further back, and if that's way too much for your body, you can just bring everything back to where it was. Still breathing in and out. Just a nice gentle twist for the starter class. Again, another full inhale. A full exhale. As we slowly, next inhale, lift the torso back upright and take your time to release the pose. You can always sit there for a breath or two. And now we'll come to a seated position with the soles of the feet flat to the ground. The feet a bit wider than the hips, so normally about the happy baby width, a bit wider than the mat. You can hold the front of the shins, the back of the knees, or bring the hands behind you. So you exhale, bring the knees, drop them over to the right. As you inhale, let them come through the center. Exhale to the left. A couple more times. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the right. Option to bring the hands to heart. Turning the chest to the direction of the knee that comes down. So if you're facing left, chest turns left. If you're facing right, chest turns right. Option to lift the arms up to the sky as well. You can always keep the hands behind if you need that extra support. And then one more time, inhale through the center. Exhale, knees drop right. Inhale through the center. Exhale, knees drop left. Once more, bring the legs back to the center. And then we'll come into a tabletop position, into our hands and knees. If you need to pad the knees using a blanket under them, you're welcome to. And we'll just move around a little through some cows and cats. You can take some circles. You can flip the palms up or back. Maybe rolling the pelvis all the way around, grazing the heels with the hips. And take some natural movements that the body is asking for. Maybe close the eyes. Breathing in and out, still with Ujjayi breath. Taking your time. Just listening to how each movement is helping you, how it feels, and then what you might be doing to continue that. To continue to create some space, some comfort, a little more mobility. As you're ready, tuck the toes and come to a neutral spine. Hands about shoulder width, knees about hip width. Hovering the knees off the ground for a hovering tabletop. And pull the ribs up and in, so really containing the torso. And start with the right leg, step back to a high plank pose without the hips lifting. And then we'll step forwards back to that hovering tabletop. And take your time again, contain the torso. And then we'll start with the opposite leg. So the left leg steps back. High plank pose. Ribs stay in. The chest pulls forwards, the tailbone reaches towards the heels. Lower the knees to the ground. You're welcome to widen the hands as we'll take a chaturanga now. Just a modified chaturanga, lower halfway for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly push back up. 3, 2, 1. You can continue to do it on the knees or lift the knees off the ground, toes tucked. Lower 3, 2, 1, lift 3, 2, 1. And now we'll move to downward dog for 5, 4, hips high, 3, 2, pelvis pulls back, 1, downward dog. You're welcome to keep the hands and feet where they are, or maybe take a wider stance, a shorter stance, and take any movement that might feel good for the body. If you're bending one knee, the other, you can pivot the hips side to side, and then pull the hips back away from the ribs. Inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. On the exhale, open the hip to the right. You're welcome to bend the knee, or you can straighten the leg, pulling the left hip back. Maybe move the leg around. As you now bring the right knee up into the chest. As you stay forwards, lift the hips a little higher. And then lower the shin down for swan pose, walking the left leg back. The right knee points forwards, right toes point behind. Now you're welcome to put blocks under the hands or come back onto the fingertips. But think of pulling the right hip back and the left hip forwards so you can lift the pelvis up away from the ground. Pulling the front of the pelvis up, the ribs down. Option for the hands to come to the heart or up to the sky. Continue to hug the outer hips in, so use them to stabilize. And exhale, and bring the hands to the ground. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Inhale, lift the right knee into the chest, stay forwards. Exhale, shin down for an active pigeon pose. Keep the shin where it lands, flex the toes to the shin. And again, walk the hands back, maybe onto the blocks or next to the hips. And then the same thing, hug the outer hips in. So the right hip pulls back, left hip forwards. And the hands can stay on the ground, the blocks. Come to the heart or up to the ceiling again. Again, think of hugging and sucking everything up, really finding stability. Exhale, release the hands to the ground. Again, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. And bring the right knee to the right tricep as you step the foot outside the right wrist. Wriggle it up a little further. Move into runner's lunge. So you're welcome to keep the back knee lifted for an active pose or lowered for passive. You can come onto the palms, the forearms, or the blocks. Maybe taking some movement. Maybe moving into a quad stretch. Left hand can stay on the ground, maybe reaching the right hand back. Just put a block under the left palm as well. If you do have the right hand on the left foot, create some resistance. Kick the foot back, but at the same time pull it into the glute. Right knee gently hugs into the chest. Exhale, release the foot to the ground. As you inhale, lift the back knee off the ground. And then pivot to the left hand side, bring the left heel down for Skandasana. The hands can come to heart or come onto the ground or blocks, or maybe flying the arms. And if you need, come up onto the right tiptoes or the heels on the ground. If you have a bind here, you're welcome to bind the arms around the right leg. And pull the left thigh in, flex the left toes to the face. And then slowly let the hips come back behind you. If you need the hands for support here, you can use them. And then pivot the right knee down, just like before, right toes turned out to the side, left toes flexed to the face. Sit on a block or blanket if necessary as you lift the arms up. And then tip from the pelvis, lean forwards over the left leg. As you inhale, lift the chest, lengthening the front of the spine, taking any rounding out of the spine. Keep the spine nice and long. As you pull the left lateral hamstring back, toes pull to the face. So the foot's flat as if you're standing flat on a wall in front of you. The big toe or the baby toe is not turned in more. As you inhale, lift straight back up. If you can, without using the hands, come back to Skandasana. Now use the glutes here, slowly standing all the way up to a star pose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Star. Toes and knees turn out, arms lift up to the sky. And exhale, horse pose. Bend the knees, pull the inner knees out. Inhale, back up to star. Now turn the toes in, exhale, move forwards into Skandasana. A little bend of the knees, pulling the inner kneecaps, the inner thighs up to the groin. Inhale, lift halfway, lean forwards. Exhale, pivot to the right, plant the palms. As you inhale, lift the right leg back behind you. Again, you can stay here, or maybe flip it into a flip dog or a wild thing, lifting the hips up, reaching the right arm back behind you, and slowly bring it back, downward facing dog. Let's do it on the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, open the hip, maybe bend the knee or straighten the leg, pulling the outer right hip back, and then square the pelvis back to the ground. Bring the left knee into the chest again, moving the body forwards, lifting the hips higher. Lower the shin down to the ground. Swan pose. Again, as you walk the hands back, you can use the blocks under the palms. The left hip hugs back and the right hip hugs forwards. Again, lifting up maybe the hands to heart or arms to the sky. Outer hips really hugging for stability and support. And exhale, bring the palms to the ground. Tuck the back toes and lift the knee. Inhale, lift the left knee into the chest. Exhale, shin to the ground for half pigeon. Again, leaving the foot and the leg where it is, flex the toes to the shin. You can stay on the fingertips, the palms, or work the hands back, bringing the hands to heart, or back up to the sky again, thinking of the outer hips hugging in, really lifting up from the pelvis, pelvic floor lifts. Use the outer left hip to stabilize, pulling the left hip back. Exhale, hands to the ground again, tuck the toes, lift the left knee. Bring the knee to the tricep and place the foot outside the left wrist, wriggling the left foot up a little further. Stay active or passive on the palms, forearms, props. And keep the front of the spine nice and long. Again, you're welcome to move or maybe move into the quad stretch, right hand or forearm down. Left hand comes back to grab the right foot. Again, that same thing, creating resistance. Kick the foot away as you pull it in towards the glute. And then very slowly release the foot to the ground, finding that control in the release. And then bring the left palm to the ground. Lift the back knee. As you slowly pivot the outer right foot down, coming into Skandasana again. Hands can be on the ground blocks or at heart. You can fly the arms or bind the arms. Pull the right thigh in, flex the right toes to the face. And again, finding that control, bring your bum to the ground behind you. If you need the hands to the ground for that support to lower the hips, then pivot the left knee down so the left toes will point out to the side or behind. And then sit up on a block or blanket. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky, flex the right toes in. Then moving from the pelvis, tip forwards, reaching the front of the chest. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, keep the front of the spine nice and long. Pulling the chest forwards, out towards the right toes. Again, have the foot flat as if you're standing on the foot so it's not turned in or out. And push the heel forwards. As you slowly keep the front of the spine lifted. As you inhale, lift all the way back up. And exhale back to Skandasana if you can without using the hands on the ground. And again, slowly using the outer hips, really hugging them in, lifting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, star pose, inhale. Exhale, horse pose, bend the knees, again pull the inner knees back. Inhale, star, lift back up. Exhale, wide leg forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. As you tip forwards, lengthening the spine. We'll be here for a little bit of time, so if you'd like to take a twist or a bind, or anything else that you might have in this wide leg forward fold, please go for it. If you'd like to just stay here, start to lean forward so the hips are in line with the ankles. The hamstrings, the inner knees, they all pull up towards the groin, so really stabilizing. Outer feet pressed down. And keep the spine nice and long. Think of lengthening it out forwards. Still breathing Ujjayi breath. And we're here for one more full inhale and a full exhale. You ready? Inhale, lift the body halfway, leaning forwards, lifting the chest. And exhale, we'll pivot to the left, back into that low lunge, plant the palms. Inhale, three-legged dog, lifting the left leg behind. You can either stay here or flip it into a flip dog or a wild thing. Again, pushing the hips up, this time left arm back. And bring yourself back to a downward facing dog. As you inhale, look forwards, come up onto the tiptoes. Or jump into a frog squat, feet outside the wrists. Hands to heart, elbows to knees. You're welcome to take a little sway side to side. The elbows push the knees back, but then hug the glutes up to lift the pelvis and lift the spine. You can keep the hands here or reach the arms forwards, or maybe up towards the ceiling or towards the sky. Think of pulling the inner knees back. We're slowly going to stand just like before. Lifting up 5, knees pull back 4, 3, 2, ribs down 1. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, goalpost the arms. Hug the outer hips in, press the outer feet down. Send the tailbone down. Inhale, lift the arms straight back up. And exhale, Samastiti to here, hands to heart. Bring the feet into a hip width position wherever it feels best. If possible, eyes closed or a hazy gaze just past the fingertips. Dragging the air in and out. Again, reconnect to that intention. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Lift the heels as well. Hug the ankles. Exhale, hands and heels down. We'll do that again. Inhale, hands and heels lift all the way up. Stand tall. Lift the inner arches. Exhale, lower them both. One more time. Inhale, slowly lift all the way up. Keep the heels lifted, little bend of the knees, tip forwards and down. Once in a fold, lower the heels. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen the spine. And exhale, squat and curl, come to a little ball. And come nice and high on the tiptoes, pushing the shins forwards. We'll keep the heels lifted here. Again, hug the outer ankles in. Inhale, chair pose. Arms can lift or be at the heart or at the hips. And exhale, lower the heels, fly the arms back. Keep the chest lifted. Inhale again, lift the heels, lift the arms. Pull the knees up. Exhale, fly the arms back, heels down. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the heels. Keep the heels lifted and bring the hands to heart center. Stand up and lift the left leg. Toes can flex up or down. And exhale, slowly bring the left leg back into an aeroplane pose. If you'd like to keep the hands at heart or at the hips or flying back or even reaching in front of you, like a little break. As you slowly bring the left toes down, lower the knee, either tuck or untuck the toes. Inhale, crescent moon. Exhale, goalpost the arms, pull the front of the pelvis back. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, lift the back knee into a crescent lunge, a high lunge. Take a full inhale. Exhale, tip forwards into a low flying, hug the right hip back. Inhale, warrior 2 as you open up, left toes turned in. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten the front leg, reach back. And exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Right hand onto the right shin, left hand to the sky. Inhale, Utthita, left arm over the ear, hug the right hip back. Exhale, hands to the ground. Inhale, standing splits, lift the left foot up to the sky, walk the hands forwards. Again, come up onto the tiptoes and create that little cat pose. You might need to walk the hands a little further forwards again. Exhale, knee into the chest, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, squat and curl, little ball. Again, keep the heels lifted. Think of pulling the inner arch of the feet up. And just for now, round the low back towards the base of the feet. And pull the rib cage back, hug the outer ankles in. Inhale, chair, keep the heels lifted. Kneecaps pull up. And exhale, lower the heels, fly the arms back. Inhale, lift the heels, lift the arms. Exhale again, fly them back. Keep the chest up, ribs in. Inhale, lift the arms and the heels. The heels stay lifted, hands come to heart. As you stand up, lift the right leg, toes flexed up or down. With a bend of the left knee as you slowly come back into aeroplane. Again, that option, place the arms forwards if you want that extra counterbalance. As you reach the right foot back, lower the toes, lower the knee. Inhale, crescent moon. Again, front of the pelvis lifts. And exhale, goalpost the arms. Chest lifts away from the low back. Inhale, lift up. Tuck the back toes. Exhale, lift the back knee. Take a full inhale. And exhale, tip forward, straighten the back leg, low flying crescent. Inhale, warrior two as you open up, right toes angled in. And exhale, side angle pose, A, forearm on the thigh, ribs pulled down. Inhale, reverse triangle, reach all the way back, left kneecap pulls up. Exhale, triangle pose, hand onto the shin, left hip hugs back. Inhale, Utthita, arm over the ear, turn the nipples to the sky. And exhale, hands to the ground. Again, leaning forwards. Inhale, standing splits. Lift the right foot up to the sky, walking the arms forwards. Lift the left heel, coming onto the tiptoes. And keep the left hip hugging up. Exhale, knee into the chest, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, squat and curl. So the last few weeks we've been playing with Lolasana and the jump through. You're welcome to go through the drills here, leaning forwards, lifting the shins, and then coming back, lifting the shins and the feet, backwards and forwards, getting a little bit of hang time. So having the hands on blocks might be really beneficial for you, giving you some more space. Blocks should either be flat side or medium side, just as long as they're stable and feel that the body is supported. When you're ready, come into a squat and curl position at the top of the mat or at your space. And keep the heels lifted, hug the ankles. Inhale, chair on the tiptoes. This time, keep the heels lifted, hands to heart. Pull the kneecaps up. Inhale, stand up, lift the left leg. Exhale, aeroplane pose. Again, we'll take another full inhale, reach the chest forwards, maybe the arms. Exhale, left toes down. Bend the back knee. This time, keep it lifted. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, low flying. Inhale, warrior two, just like before. Exhale, side angle pose, left hip hugs back. Inhale, reverse triangle, reach the right arm back, press into the right big toe. Exhale, triangle pose. Pull the front ribs back, inhale, Utthita. And exhale, hands to the ground. Inhale, standing splits. One last time, come up onto the tiptoes. Exhale, lower the toes behind you of the left foot. Plant the palms. Inhale, three-legged dog. Right leg lifts. Again, you have that option to flip it into a flip dog or a wild thing, reaching all the way back. And then coming back into a downward facing dog. And take a couple of little jumps forwards to the top of the mat. Find that control, just like we're doing with Lolasana. And then come down to the squat and curl position, heels nice and high. As you keep the heels lifted, inhale, chair pose. Think of the kneecaps pulling up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, stand up, lift the right leg. And exhale, fly the right leg back. Again, another full inhale breath, reach further forwards. Exhale, slowly bring the right toes down, bend the knee and keep the knee lifted. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, low flying, tip forwards. Inhale, warrior two as you open up, left knee tracks open. And exhale, side angle. Make sure the right toes are angled in. Inhale, reverse triangle, front leg straightens, so you pull the left hip up. And exhale, triangle pose, left hip hugs back now. Inhale, Utthita. And exhale, hands to the ground. Walk the hands forwards. Inhale, standing splits. Come onto the left tiptoes. And lower the right toes behind you. Plant the palms. Three-legged dog. And that same option to flip it. You're welcome to just move the leg around. And then slowly make your way back to a downward facing dog. And again, we're going to play with the jump through, just like we have been the last few weeks. Hands on blocks, medium or small side. So you jump all the way through, bringing the legs into a seated position. We'll do it a few times. So play around here, maybe hugging the legs up. You can always cross the ankles if you need a little extra space for the hip flexors to get the legs through the arms. Bend the knees, come onto the tiptoes, jump all the way through, find that control. Again, I didn't have blocks today, so having longer arms is quite handy, but really finding that stability and the strength of the entire body working together. Again, jumping all the way through and come to a seat. If you need to sit up on a blanket or a block, bring the soles of the feet together. You're welcome to use the peace fingers around the big toes, or cradle the feet, or maybe the ankles with the hands. Inhale, lift the chest. Again, keep a neutral spine as you tip from the pelvis. Pull the chest forwards as the shin bones pull up, the outer knees pull down. Think of lengthening the front of the spine. Breathe into the low abdomen, the low back. Still with Ujjayi breath, finding the focus. Notice where or if the spine rounds, and then come back up, taking your time. And now, placing the feet flat at a hip width position. Bring the arms behind you, placing the hands just slightly wider than the shoulders. You're always welcome to put the hands on blocks or turn the fingers forwards or the fingers out. Inhale, reverse tabletop, lift the hips up. So really use the hamstrings here and think of lifting behind the heart. The chin can stay forwards, or if it's comfortable, you can rest the head on the traps. Exhale, release the hips to the ground. So extend the legs into Dandasana, hands beside the hips. The seated staff pose, think of sitting up like a nice tall L. The toes flex in, lift the pelvis up, the skull on top of the pelvis. Push the inner arch of the feet forwards, the lateral arch of the feet pulls back towards the outer hips. But sitting up nice and tall, again the outer hips hug in to lift the pelvis and lift the spine. As you inhale, lift the arms straight up to the sky, keep the feet active. Exhale, move a third of the way forwards. Really lengthen the spine, either staying here, you can always release the hands, or move another third without rounding the spine. So moving from the pelvis, you can always bend the knees a little, and then one more time, moving one more third. You can keep the arms reaching, release the hands to the ground, or maybe onto the legs or the toes. Again, if you feel the spine rounding anywhere, come up just a little, lengthen the front of the chest. Again, the legs stay active, pushing forwards, hugging the outer hips back. As you inhale, lift all the way back up. And exhale, bring the hands behind. Keep the legs straight. You're always welcome here to again take that reverse tabletop that we just took before. Or this time, Purvottanasana, hands behind, fingers forwards or out to the side as you lift the hips all the way up. And the same with the head, forwards or back. Really using the hamstrings and behind the heart. Think of the shoulder blades supporting and lifting the chest up higher, pushing the toes down, and then release the hips to the ground. Now we'll slowly come onto our back, toes flex in or out, lower back for 10, 9, 8, ribs pull in, 7, 6, 5, 4, find your focus, 3, 2, all the way back onto your back, slowly, very slowly, for 1. Nice work. Move into a happy baby pose, bringing the knees into the underarms. You're always welcome to grab the big toes, the outer feet, or maybe the ankles or the back of the knees. So really push the pelvis down, collarbones wide. And from here, we're going to rock ourselves up into a seated happy baby. So find that fine line of balance, pushing the feet forwards and pulling back with the hands. Now lift the chest up, push the feet into the fingers or the hands. Really open the front of the collarbones wide, shoulders pull back as we're slowly keeping that happy baby roll onto our back. Take your time. Recline figure 4, cross the right ankle on the left thigh. You can interlace the fingers at the shin or the hamstring. Keep the chin slightly lifted, creating space in the neck. Right toes flex to the shin. Let's move into a figure 4. So move the pelvis over to the right, the legs drop to the left. The sole of the right foot can come onto the ground or a prop. You can turn the head in any direction and place the arms where it feels best for the body. You slowly bring the legs back to the center, unravel, and swap it over. Left ankle on the right thigh, flex the left toes to the shin. And take the awkward finger grip, so swapping the fingers over one space completely. Releasing this time the right foot to the ground. We'll move into the twist. The hips move to the left, legs drop to the right. Again, put props under the sole of the left foot or the outer right leg. You can turn the head in any direction and place the arms where it feels good for your body. Letting the left knee get heavy. And as you're ready, bring the legs back to the center. Move the pelvis back in line with the shoulders. Unraveling the legs. Now lift the legs straight up towards the sky. With the hands grab at the hamstrings at the back of the thighs and push the legs forwards, flexing the toes in. At the same time, pull the arms back, spreading the collarbones. Anchor the hips down, and then forehead into the knees, knees into the chest. If there's anything else you would like to take to complete your practice, please go for it right now. If you need to use the blocks or blanket or bolster under the back of the knees, the arms and legs can come wide. You can always cover the eyes with a hand towel if that helps you to find internal focus, as you now simply allow yourself to be, moving into your resting pose of Shavasana. And as you lay here, just notice the noises, maybe the noises from the video, any noises around you from the body. Notice what you're feeling. You get to choose if you'd like to stay. If you're ready, create tiny movements in the body, maybe stretching out, bringing the legs in. You can take all the time. When you're ready, bringing yourself to a seated position. If you'd like to sit up on your props, the eyes closed or open, the hands resting on the legs, the lap or the heart. And just spend a few breaths thanking yourself for taking the time for you. Whether you did part of this video or all of it, you've done a great thing for yourself. And thank you for doing that. Thank you for spending time. Namaste. Please move into the rest of your day nice and slowly. Drink some water. Do anything else that's going to help you to integrate everything that the mind and body has just learned in this class into your daily life. I'd love it if you'd subscribe, share the video, spread the word, and have an amazing day. Thank you so much. Again, my name is MJ.